Star to Be Determined podcast. The podcast, Avoid Legal Snets. Interesting. I'm supposed to tell you that you are being recorded according to Skype to avoid legal issues. That's what the notification says. So, David, you are being recorded.
I kind of got that from the little thing at the top of my screen saying Ty is recording the call.
Ooh, you also got notified that I am recording you, but we're in a single-party consent state, so technically I don't have to tell you I'm doing this.
It's true. I was about to remark on that, but Skype apparently does not want to take any chances.
Apparently not. So welcome to episode 3 of the podcast, where we watch Star Trek and or other star-related sci-fi shows, and to talk about them, because we need an excuse to hang out with our buddies and talk about sci-fi.
And whatever else, what other topics kind of come across.
Indeed. So today we are up to episode 8 of Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 1, The Battle. Which...
I would like to note that I looked it up, and this premiered November 14th, 1987. We are watching something that's 32 years old.
87?
87.
Good grief. And you did research. I commend you. That's way more prep than I put into this. 87.
Yeah, both of us were,
You're
what,
like
4
years old
when this came out? Yes.
All of my children are older than I was when this came out. That is a frightening thing.
Now, for everyone who might potentially watch us in the future, please now take a moment to realize how old you feel. We'll give you a moment.
That was a good moment.
Indeed.
So, are we ready to start this battle?
I am if you are.
And engage. I think this may involve Ferengi. I don't remember.
It does. Big Ferengi ship right there. We're good.
Yep.
Picard's fish.
Please tell me there's power whips again.
I don't think so.
Our hypothetical fans are probably clamoring to know why we don't have episodes prior to episode, what was it, 6 we started on?
Because no one cares about those episodes. They're pretty rough.
No one does care. And we'd actually probably have to be making money off of this before we rationalize going back and rewatching something.
Yeah, especially some of those early episodes. I would definitely want to have money for that.
Besides, certain primary cast members hadn't been permanently killed off the show yet.
Indeed. All right. This is one of my favorite parts of all Star Trek, where Dr. Crusher is like aghast that he has a headache. And that headaches are like so rare in the 24th century. That means it's psychosomatic.
You have a headache, get an MRI now.
Hey, free MRI. You can say what you want about the Federation, but their healthcare is awesome.
I wouldn't mind Federation healthcare.
Can you say it's single payer when no one's technically paying? I love alien names. Bach.
Bach is how you say mouth in Thai.
Ah.
So he's the demon mouth. I'm sure that
Bach
was there.
is also how you say hello in chicken.
Oh, they still got the fur from the last episode.
They do. Ooh, mutual problem.
Ooh.
I like how she just like took over the conversation from the captain, just like without communicating to anyone, like cut the channel now.
I like how you have to cut off the entire communication channel instead of just pushing the mute button.
Well, what if the Ferengi can read lips?
I thought everyone was using Babelfish.
Oh, I do want Babelfish.
Boarding's hardy. Dun,
Oh, the
dun,
suspense is
dun.
horrible. Is it just me, or is this an incredibly long opening sequence?
I once took an entire shower during this opening sequence. I really wanted to watch Star Trek, and I really had to take a shower, and I made it work. It
All
was a
right.
very fast shower.
Well, I gathered that, but it's also a long opening sequence, so the two kind of like meshed well.
Yes.
Oh,
This show looks so good.
it does. I really like the models they used for the ship.
I like that they kept the models.
Uh,
Like the original cleanup, they did a good job, but it doesn't quite feel as like well done as this one.
the funny thing is, you might know, is there are two models that they use for different shots, and Ben can actually tell me which model you're looking at.
We'll never be as awesome as Ben, but I think we all agreed to that long ago.
Yeah, but one day I hope to be that big of a nerd.
I'm impressed Will Wheaton actually gets credit in the opening this early in the series.
Well, he's technically main cast.
I guess.
It's only
If you
later
want
that
to,
they realize that we don't know what to do with him.
if you want to count Wesley Crusher as main cast,
And look at this. Doctor's appointment within an hour. See, there it is. Oh, someone doesn't know anything about pain, does she?
uh.
Dr. Crusher just exposed the entire pharmaceutical industry.
Yep. I love Data.
He does make this show. Oh, snap.
It's been so long. I'm just so fascinated. I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Oh.
I'm also coming to realize this podcast will absolutely not work as a standalone without the episode in front of you. That's okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So you could say it's more like a companion thing.
This is so not how the Ferengi were later in the series.
I know, right? This is when they were still supposed to be evil and mysterious.
And barbarians.
Basically. But capitalist barbarians. Capitalist misogynistic barbarians.
Data. He totally doesn't get the sarcasm.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
You can tell something important's happening because the chimes in the background.
And the Ferengi are totally about giving people stuff for free.
Oh, of course. It seems like they keep if you look at all of Star Trek canon, they keep encountering the Ferengi and not knowing who they are. There's that episode of Enterprise where they never got their name, and he blew up an entire ship, and he never got their name. I like how he says main viewer, but there are no other viewers.
That's sacrilege.
That is. You could tell because his little companions were like freaking out.
Ooh, ghosts. Space Ghost? Oh, I'd love Space Ghost to be in this episode.
I would totally watch that.
Can you imagine if Space Ghost was like third in command?
Would it be like Space Ghost from the old cartoon, or would it be his talk show persona, though?
Definitely the latter. Because he learned a lot since the 70s.
It's true, he did.
The guy on the left looks so just like he's trying so hard.
Exactly.
No cost.
Out of all the adjectives he uses, though, it's like ugly, very ugly.
Well, it was Demon Mouth. And it's pretty funny. Like, just the way they move, how they're overreacting to everything, and how it feels like they kind of understand how much the Ferengi like money, but they haven't quite decided that's going to be their shtick.
Yeah, well, this is back, like I said, when they're trying to be a bad guy. Like, these are the new Klingons. And they are horribly not Klingons. Luckily, in, what is it, 5 years?
Is he having a stroke? Isn't smelling burnt toast a symptom of a stroke coming on?
I think so, yeah.
I think Captain Picard is suffering from a stroke.
If only there was a doctor on hand who could recognize these symptoms.
Since he's mapped the entire human brain and how it works down to the neurons.
Actually, they understand pain now.
I never noticed they have a seam straight down the middle of the front.
Yeah, the first few seasons before they redesigned the uniforms, I think starting in season 3.
What kind of control would it take to be able to engage and disengage at light speed in order as a tactical maneuver at short range?
Well, remember that they're more evolved humans in the 24th century.
You're right.
Centuries of video games have, like, honed them.
They do have holodecks.
It's true.
I would love a holodeck.
You know, the holodeck would be amazing, but on the other hand, I keep thinking how people would abuse a holodeck.
I can't imagine a single way anyone would abuse a holodeck.
Okay, you're right. I'm just being silly.
Hasn't the internet taught you anything? Nothing bad.
Little too much, unfortunately.
Having all the world's knowledge at your fingertips at all times. Now imagine if you can have all the world's knowledge and experiences. What bad could possibly come out of that?
I like how he reads it like we don't already know what that ship is. And I do have to say, I think they just keep reusing this set through, like, the rest of the series to represent old ships. That's the tactical station.
Why'd they bring a man who's having a stroke onto a strange vessel?
24th century medicine, you wouldn't understand.
You're right. I still suffer from things like headaches and the common cold.
Hit the common cold so much. Man,
is
life
it
is
really
so
the
much...
common cold if no one has it anymore?
That's true. Where they just start calling it the cold?
Or the uncommon cold?
Ah.
Or maybe cold just refers to temperature now.
Oh. So, here's my question. Starship is nearly destroyed. You're being attacked by aliens you don't know. You're forced to abandon ship. 2 words. Self-destruct. Like, you just abandon ship and let your proprietary technology fall into unknown hands?
But then how are they supposed to make a giant memory regression brainwash machine if you do that?
Hey, I'm sure they could find a way.
Everyone knows the easiest way to allow your enemies to make a giant brainwash memory regression machine is to put it in your trunk, apparently.
So, how did Bach know he was next to the thing?
I'm more concerned at how they managed to pinpoint the device to only affect the card. Like, how do you get his brain's frequency or whatever? That's my concern.
That's very true. The Ferengi are very advanced. I love that little snarl.
I'm confused as to how they've managed to go 8 episodes into the series and never once said the word platinum with the Ferengi.
Ah, the problem is you're looking back through the lens of DS9 where they realize we could actually use this race efficiently.
I love DS9.
I do too.
Deep Space Nine. It never had a chance to be the only Trek and hang out by itself and do its own thing without the full light of the others overlooking it.
Which is a shame because I think the best writing, the best acting, and the best characters all were on DS9.
My favorite line of that show is still, admit it, you like me a little bit more than Aiko.
But she's my wife.
We've got more in common.
Oh, I remember how hard we laughed at that the first time we saw it. Oh.
Maybe Deep
All right, I
Space
want you
Nine
to pay
should be
attention
next.
to his pillow. So the one thing about Star Trek I noticed is they very rarely have comfortable looking pillows. Their pillows are always like weird shapes.
Look what that's going to do to his neck.
I
That
know,
pillow's
right?
huge.
Oh. That's actually one thing I really liked about Discovery. It was the first time I saw a bed in Discovery. I'm like, they have real pillows.
Pew, pew, pew.
Dun, dun, dun.
War crimes, nothing more than war crimes. Trying to forget my litany of war crimes.
See, also here's a thing now. They're looking at this from an 80s point of view. Before we had the technology to sufficiently like mimic video and audio.
Because, like, the holodeck's a thing, but you could never fake an audio recording of a
It's
person.
in his own voice, Ty.
I
His
know.
own voice.
It's somehow. I don't know how it could be possible, though. It's way beyond our technology.
The Ferengi must have a technology unknown to us.
Like, we've cured all headaches and the cold, and we have holodecks, but audio recording, I'm at a loss.
Yes, friendship overtures, because that's how the Ferengi roll.
Because the early Ferengi were the paragon of generosity and even-handedness.
Exactly.
What do we get for having beardless Riker?
It still looks so unnatural. And nothing about this
I
adds
like
up.
how he's so like, did I do this? I'm so confused.
Well, how clearly do you think when you have a headache?
I don't know. I'm lucky if I remember what I was doing 5 minutes ago, so
All right, so now I know that I could fake you destroying a Ferengi starship.
probably. Although there's always a chance that maybe I did destroy a Ferengi starship.
And you'll never know. In fact, I will produce an audio recording in your own voice, proving you did.
In my own voice? Well, that can't be faked in any way, shape, or form, so that was a great fun we had
Frankie
there.
joke.
I think the bigger insult is that they didn't charge them for the spaceship.
It's true. Can't even cure a simple headache.
It's 2019 and we're still getting more Picard.
I know, right? I'm sure there'll be some great callbacks to the Battle of Maxia. I wonder if when he accepted this role, in the mid 80s, that he realized he would be playing it off and on for 30 plus years.
Pretty much till he's dead.
Yeah.
Or he makes them kill him off, which is how William Shatner got out of the role.
When your captain starts talking like this is a good idea for the doctor to pull rank and relieve him of duty.
Is that what she's doing?
I don't think so.
She did sedate him. I want
Go
to be
sleep.
sedated.
Go sleep on your uncomfortable pillow.
It's
I'll
a
treat you in the
horrible
morning
pillow.
for your neck pain.
Nope. That's going to cure him of his neck pain. Maybe that's why they have such uncomfortable pillows. They're like, aesthetically, these are so great, we'll just use science to make our pain and suffering go away. instead of
Well,
having ergonomic pillows.
well, now that they understand pain and what causes it, they could do such things.
Exactly. Also, how are you feeling about that Inception rumor? How does it still hurt deep inside?
It does, and I do have greater faith in Christopher Nolan than other people, but
If Christopher Nolan keeps this up, he may surpass Steven Spielberg as the greatest director of all time.
uh, he's definitely on that track. And
It's,
I do love how his trailers tell you absolutely nothing about the movie you're about to watch.
did you watch the Tenet trailer?
Yes, I saw it in the theater, and I have no idea what that movie is about. None. Besides that, there's a black guy, and
And,
it's called Tenet.
and there's some holes in glass, and he walks back and forth.
And
I
Michael
think
Caine will
that
show up eventually.
I like the most about Christopher Nolan is I can watch his trailers, and I don't feel deep pain and suffering like I do most other trailers.
You don't feel like this?
Yes, exactly. Because most movie trailers make me feel like this scene. Everything's on fire. My heart is being ripped from my soul. And I just want to die from the knowledge that is forbidden and being forced into my eyeballs by the movie trailer for the thing I don't want to know anything about.
Once again, you could stop going to the movies and stop being on the internet.
I know. Oh, I do still want a chronological version of Dunkirk.
Why?
Because that movie was really confusing to me once I was watching it, trying to figure out what was going on, until I realized, wait, this is out of chronological order.
Well, they told you at the
When?
beginning. They told you at the beginning. What happens over like a couple days, a couple hours, and a couple minutes or something like that.
I love data. Uh-oh. He's got the crazy Picard look.
He
Last time he
does.
had that look, he was possessed by a space ghost.
Oh, yeah. When Picard is happy and jolly, even, you know something is wrong.
Exactly. Chipper Picard is a bad sign. With the exception of when he's marrying his coworkers. He's
Yeah.
not possessed or going crazy then. But other than that, Chipper Picard is always a bad thing.
Oh, snap. He just ticked off Crusher.
You have infinite power in your warp core.
Well, here's my thing:
That was
is
that was
the
a
inertia,
physicist.
like the inertia will keep it going. What happens if you want to go to warp?
I also reiterate, one of the things I liked about this show is it was explained to me this way. All the science in this show is based off of actual science, except for the warp core, which is a magical source of infinite power from crystals.
Iron infused crystals.
But it's that magical infinite power that makes it all possible.
And see, that's why he's main cast. Because once again, you need the 13-year-old boy to point these things out to you.
Yes. Adults.
Such an 80s thing to say.
He might as well just said adults. That's what he meant.
It's a burden to be so smart.
Oh yeah, this is before Wesley gained his magical spirit animal powers.
Yeah, he hasn't left higher planes of existence yet. Relieve him of duty. He's not allowed to be there.
For a second there, I thought he was about to say, "What the F word?" It really sounded like it.
Oh, see, now that would be more like Star Trek Discovery.
Back before they mastered the brain and banned profanity.
Exactly. That, like I told you, I watched the first season of Discovery, and like twice within 2 minutes they dropped the F-bomb. Nowhere else in the series did they do this, except for that one episode, and twice in 2 minutes.
Like the last episode of Community.
Exactly.
You're monologuing.
Ah.
No one looks in
Of course, it's a
the
fairly heavy
giant
chest.
chest on the mysterious vessel. They just bring it all on without validating the contents.
Ah. What I also love is, once again, very 80s. All the technology is huge.
I know.
He's a pretty sucky commander.
Magical brain orb.
I know. I'm still really confused about how that brain orb works.
Bum bum bum.
Oh. Dun dun dun. Space
He's
battle.
kind of sweaty.
Well, he's nervous. His captain just like zoomed away in his old ship.
That's true.
Okay. How much of a threat can that thing really be to the Enterprise?
I can't imagine that floating in space for a decade is good for it.
I mean, it's a decade later. This is a ship of the line. It's brand new. I can't imagine the Stargazer is gonna do that much. Ooh,
Dun, dun, dun.
Riker don't broke no fools. I would also like to note that they have no idea what the inside of a Ferengi ship looks like. So the background behind him is just white.
That is a good point. The poor Ferengi have been given no thought by this point in the series. I think they're just using them because they had the makeup lying around and it was convenient.
Think we need an enemy here. A Ferengi will do. Can you imagine that production meeting though? Like, okay, we're gonna have them on the main viewer. So what's their ship gonna look like behind them? Any ideas?
We're out of budget, so what if we don't and call it an artistic decision? How about that? That sounds like a good idea. It'll be like that car in the what is it? Pastor Raptor? Raptor Pastor?
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster? Yes.
Of course, everything is more dramatic with Sir Patrick Stewart.
Can you imagine if Patrick Stewart was the Velocipaster?
Oh my goodness.
He's
I would
so good.
I would totally watch that movie. All right, so here's what always bugged me about the Picard maneuver. So he throws it into warp and stops short. So at one moment he's in two places, very close and very far, right?
Yes.
If you know how the Picard maneuver works, shouldn't you always shoot for the one near you?
But that would imply that you understand the very simple move that he's performing of going from point A to point B.
It's true. I must not understand the complexity of it.
You see, he's going in a straight line from point A to point B. They finally realized that they outgunned the poor little
We're
vessel.
in a better ship.
Also, is it me or did it take Data an unusually long amount of time to come up with that plan?
It did. See, right there. It's always the one nearest you.
But only the android could have possibly figured that out in the time they had available.
I like to point out his captain chair here has basically a restraint to it. It's like a roller coaster ride.
You mean like a seatbelt?
Well, no, see how it like folds down over his legs and there's like cushioning for his legs?
That's before they decided that seatbelts were antiquated like headaches.
Exactly. Yeah, so he basically like you strap yourself in like a roller coaster in these old style ships.
Does he have a phaser? Oh, I guess he does.
Of course he does. Don't be silly. What good captain doesn't have a phaser?
I like how dramatic this is. Like, did you see how long that shot? It's like the Death Star trench, only it's just him standing in a room.
That was quite the explosion.
Why would you stand so close to the thing you're going to shoot?
He was confused, had a headache. It's a whole story.
You're only saying it because you don't understand the brain like Beverly Crusher does.
Ah, it's true. I never will. Just a 21st century guy. I like how the Ferengi, it isn't like this was inherently wrong or immoral.
No, there was no financial profit. That's a felony.
So dramatic.
I'll have to say the
Shakespearean.
future Ferengi are basically the exact opposite of the Federation, which is like some sort of communist utopia fantasy.
It's true.
Which is the irony, because all of us want to live in Star Trek time. At the same time, all of us think communism is a horrible idea. But they somehow manage to make it work.
Because you know what they have that we don't, Ty?
They understand the brain.
And magical warp crystals.
You're right. They do have magical warp crystals, giving them infinite power. I love this show so much. It's so ridiculous, though.
It does get better.
Patrick Stewart and Data are so just perfect, even at this early phase.
And once Riker grows his beard, then we got another character.
Oh, it's going to be so good once Riker grows his beard. I'm going to go cheat and see if the last episode has a beard or not.
I don't think he grows until season 2.
Nope, still no beard. Let's go see if season 2 has a beard. TNG season 2. Random episode. Is there a beard? There's Q. Yep, there's the beard. Actually, this looks like the Borg. There's Gaia.
Well, remember, the first time we meet the Borg was because of Q.
I wonder if that's what this episode is. Yeah, Riker definitely has his beard in season 2, so we only have to suffer through one season of the beardless Riker.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's so painful. It's almost like watching 16 by 9 Seinfeld.
Oh.
That was fun. Any closing thoughts?
Well, I wish that we too understood the brain.
Someday we'll understand the brain, but sadly today is not the day.
And remember, if you ever see two of something, and one's in the distance, and one's right near you, fire at the one right near you.
But that's the new one. Shouldn't I fire at the original one?
No, that's a trap.
Oh, okay, Admiral Akbar. I'll take your word for it. Fair enough.
And so I think that's a good summary of what we learned in today's episode.
Yes, we should also probably someday think of some sort of formal closing of things, but oh well, that's fine.
That doesn't quite seem our style.
No, that would be a little bit too formal and organized, and like we're an actual show, and not just an excuse to hang out and watch Star Trek. Not that this isn't going to be an actual published show. I am going to make that happen.
Maybe we should work on something like, thank you for watching Star Trek with us. This has been episode 8.
You need to be a little more British.
A little more British. Oh, yes, quite. Spiffing.
Cheerio, tut-tut. Smashing, good man, smashing. Simply smashing. I kind of want to watch Faulty Towers.
Well, you have to watch Faulty Towers now.
You've seen Faulty Towers, right?
Of course I've seen Faulty Towers. John Cleese at his best.
Oh, it's so good. I'm just staring at it right now over on the shelf with the other stuff. So good. Oh, good grief, it's 11 o'clock. Well, I guess we should probably call it a day.
Yeah, I need to get going to bed.
Where's the button? Stop it. Signing off in 3, 2, 1. Ooh.